Setting up the meeting for custom streaming services now. We're live.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. This is the meeting of the Joint Committee on Federal Relations, chaired by Senator Jill Carter and myself. I'm Delegate Al Carr, and we're talking about today with the MDTA, the Maryland Transportation Authority, our toll roads agency, about tolling and how this affects issues across state lines. We didn't want to duplicate the great work of our standing committees like the Environment and Transportation Committee and our budget committees and budget and tax, but we did want to talk about these interstate issues. I understand Easy Pass is an agreement between different toll agencies in different states. So it's similar to an interstate compact. And this agency does have jurisdiction over interstate compacts. So just housekeeping, we'll ask folks to keep their microphones on mute. And if you have a question for the presenters after the presentation, just raise your hand and we will call on you. And Chair Carter, do you have anything else to add?
Oh, just good afternoon, everyone. I'm looking forward to the briefing. Most of us here are aware of some of the very grave issues that have impacted Marylanders with respect to these tolls and late fees. And we also are looking forward to hearing the status of MDTA and the ability to collect the revenues that have been lost to us from out-of-staters. And so look forward to hearing, and I'll save any questions for after the presentation.
All right, thanks. Just a point of personal privilege. This is probably my last opportunity to chair this committee. So I want to thank all the members, and I'll especially thank the staff, Scott and Sam and everyone else. Really appreciate it. And at this point, I want to turn it over to our guests. We have Mr. Will Pines, who is the Executive Director of the MDTA.
Well, good afternoon, Chairwoman Carter, Chairman Carr, and members of the Joint Committee on Federal Relations. For the record, I'm Will Pines, Executive Director for the Maryland Transportation Authority. And my team here is bringing up on the screen, hopefully you're able to see it, the presentation that we're going to provide today. Can I just get a confirmation that everyone's able to see the presentation? Okay, I think we're live here. Okay, so thank you again for inviting us here to provide this update on Maryland tolling. As of July of 2021, it marked the 50th anniversary for the MDTA, which we were established in 1971 by this body, the Maryland General Assembly, for the purpose of financing, constructing, operating, preserving, securing, and improving the state's toll facilities. The MDTA is unique from other Maryland transportation agencies in that we are financed solely by our toll revenues. We are a self-sufficient, non-budgeted state agency that receives no money from the state's general fund or transportation trust fund. The MDTA reinvests our revenues in the operations and maintenance of our toll facilities. And in addition to operating 8 toll facilities, which you can see on your screen there, we also own 2 travel plazas along the I-95 corridor, and those are operated privately through a successful public-private partnership that we have. Another unique aspect of the MDTA is that our trust agreement, the MDTA's trust agreement is a contract with our bondholders, and it outlines how the funds may be used as we operate our 8 tolling facilities. From the public's perspective, Easy Pass, pay by plate, and video tolling, along with our major projects like the Nice Middleton Bridge, are the most identifiable aspects of the MDTA's operations. And to give you an overview and help you with your constituents, I'd like to start my remarks where we are today in terms of all electronic tolling, or what we refer to as cashless tolling, and our transition to Drive Easy MD, and to provide the committee with an overview of Easy Pass and video tolling policies and billing. Transitioning MDTA to cash tolling facilities, or AET, has been one of our strategic goals for many years. With the success of AET at the Intercounty Connector and the I-95 Express toll lanes that was under our belt, we also successfully transitioned the Key and Hayden bridges to AET in the fall of 2019. In March of 2020, in response to the COVID-19 state of emergency, we initiated statewide all electronic tolling overnight. MDTA's remaining 5 cash-taking toll facilities were impacted during that transition. And in August of 2020, Governor Hogan announced that all electronic tolling would remain permanent throughout Maryland. All electronic toll collection is expanding throughout the country in numerous states. Many nearby states have fully implemented AET or have begun the transition to AET, such as Delaware, Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. All electronic tolling has many benefits. It eases congestion and results in less idling time, which allows better fuel efficiency and reduced emissions, as we all greatly care about the environment. It increases driver safety by reducing crashes and provides a safer work environment for our employees as well. The removal of conventional toll plazas and canopies and replacing them with overhead gantries that are capable of highway speed all electronic tolling is ongoing now still. Construction of that highway speed all electronic tolling with overhead gantries and the removal of the existing toll plazas is complete at most of our facilities now, and most recently at the Nice Middleton Bridge in Southern Maryland and our John F. Kennedy Highway facility up in the Northern Maryland in Harford and Cecil County. The Fort McHenry Tunnel Highway Speed AET conversion, that construction project is underway now and is scheduled to complete in 2023. But the highway speed benefits are anticipated to be in place by the end of the year. The Baltimore Harbor Tunnel facility, the toll plaza removal, that facility requires additional traffic studies, and that's a good portion of that is underway now. Those studies are required due to the proximity of the facility to the Child Street ramps in that area. That is planned to be our final conversion, and it's anticipated that construction will be completed in the winter of 2028. We hope that all of the committee has had the opportunity to travel through the new highway speed AET lanes, but in case you have not, we wanted to share an example of that at our JFK Highway facility with these before and after photos. And you can see this, we didn't pick an unusual period or anything. This is just what normal operations looked like before, with lines of folks waiting for cash, weaving trucks, people merging back in. A lot of incidents and things occurred in this area. We've done away with all of that and allow people to just keep on driving and have their tolling done at highway speeds. In our previous tolling system, which had been in place since 2008, it needed a major overhaul and modernization to accommodate technological advancements that have taken place throughout our industry and to meet the needs of our customer base. The new tolling system went live on April 29th of 2021. The launch of Drive Easy MD included a new website, driveeasymd.com, a web chat feature, customer call center with expanded hours, text notifications, and more. Customers can utilize the website to learn more about all the things related to tolling in Maryland and pay their tolls with either one of our payment options, Easy Pass, video tolling, or our newest payment method called Pay by Plate. Since launching, we've been using customer feedback and our own quality processes to expand our website functionality. Based on customer feedback, we are continuously improving our frequently asked questions that are available to customers on the website. We've streamlined our contact options to improve our ability to provide quick and accurate assistance. We've added tutorial videos to provide common hints for our customers, made login design and requirement improvements, and even implemented changes both at the customer level and account specialist interfaces that make it easier for everyone that uses our site to navigate it more easily. When it comes to paying tolls, as I mentioned before, customers have three options in Maryland. We like to use the analogy of good, better, best to describe the payment options for our customers. When we talk about best, we refer to EasyPass because that's the option that provides the lowest toll rates to customers and typically provides them the best experience. So talking about EasyPass a little bit here, EasyPass Maryland customers receive the lowest toll rates and they can save up to 77%. EasyPass is the most widely used form of payment at MDTA toll facilities and 19 other states. And it's the best option in terms of both cost and convenience for our customers. Since 2008, standard EasyPass Maryland transponders are now free, and the $1.50 monthly maintenance fee has been eliminated for Maryland addresses and for some out-of-state drivers who use our toll roads more than 3 times a month. EasyPass accounts can be funded by a credit card, bank account, cash, check, or money order. Just another picture to give you a detail here of how widely utilized EasyPass is throughout the country. As you can see, EasyPass is used in numerous states and allows individuals to drive state by state, worry-free, with a single account to manage. Since 2011, the MDTA has been a member of the EasyPass Group, also known as the Interagency Group or the IAG, which is the most successful interoperable interstate toll collection program anywhere in the world, frankly. Today, the EasyPass Group consists of 38 members and sponsored affiliates that operate 51 independent tolling agencies spread across 19 states. Collectively, EasyPass serves more than 32 million accounts, has 49 million transponders or tags in circulation, and annually, EasyPass supports the reciprocity in excess of 3.6 billion transactions and toll revenues over 14.5 billion. The EasyPass operating agreement is a governance document signed by all EasyPass members. The reciprocity agreement establishes the framework for the exchange of EasyPass transactions, tags and transponder information, customer license plates, and the associated information with an EasyPass account. This allows for the settlement of toll revenue between member toll agencies. In FY22, the MDTA received toll revenue from member EasyPass agencies totaling $312.2 million. We also, anytime you talk about EasyPass, it's also important to just give a little bit of an education on discount plans. We offer several different discount plans for EasyPass Maryland customers, and these are EasyPass Maryland discount plans, specifically for commuters and the commercial vehicle industry. Accounts must be replenished when the funds become low, as a negative balance becomes a video toll, so we offer automatic replenishment as an option for EasyPass accounts. One thing here with the discount plans, if a customer's monthly statement shows an unused commuter trip charge, then the customer is not commuting frequently enough to use the required trips within the discount plan cycle period. All EasyPass discount plans are time sensitive, and this can be an issue today where many individuals have changed their travel patterns with the onset of frequent teleworking. So another important payment option that helps with our collections is the new method that we call Better, the pay-by-plate method for customers. This allows them to avoid notices of toll due or video tolls and to receive lower toll rates than the video tolling option. Pay-by-plate is the newest way for Maryland tolls to be paid. Customers can choose to set up a pay-by-plate payment method by providing their vehicle and credit card information. And each time they travel through a Maryland toll facility, a camera takes a photo of their registered license plate. The system then charges that toll directly to that registered credit card. So there's no need for a transponder with this method or a prepaid balance on that pay-by-plate Maryland account. However, pay-by-plate only works within the state of Maryland for customers that have pay-by-plate. So talking about going back to video tolling here, this is the last option. We still consider it good in that customers are able to travel at highway speeds on our facility in an AAT environment. And the video toll customers are those traveling through a Maryland toll facility that are either without an Easy Pass or without that pay-by-plate option. These are the highest toll rates because it's more time consuming and labor intensive to collect on video tolls. The way that that's done is that an image of the license plate is captured and the registered owner is then mailed a notice of toll due associated with that video toll. Customers who pay their video tolls before receiving their invoice or notice of toll due are mailed, before that mailing occurs, they are eligible for a 15% discount for a maximum of $5 discount total. And that is helpful, and we can pass savings to the customer because of the fact that we don't have to go through all of the mailing effort on those. Since MDTA won't have to send a bill, the agency can pass those savings on to our customers. Over the next few slides, it's going to break down the toll rates that we have throughout the state of Maryland. I talked about them in that series of good, better, best slides, but just for your information to be able to understand how the tolls vary around the state, we thought it might be helpful to provide the tables. And you'll notice that the differing toll rates, commuter plan, Maryland Easy Pass, pay-by-plate, video toll, and out-of-state Easy Pass rates are there. So there's multiple payment rates. All of this information is also available on our website, and our roadway signs provide the two most common types of tolls in Maryland Easy Pass and the video toll rates. So we'll just give you a pause here. Again, you can kind of see the 4 different options with the commuter plan, the Easy Pass Maryland, pay-by-plate, and video toll that are available to Maryland customers, and then that the out-of-state toll rates are there. And you can see also that we do have different toll rates based on the vehicle classification, where users are charged more by having more axles. So on the screen is the central region for Maryland. Now we're going to move out to our Chesapeake Bay Bridge, the William Preston Lane Jr. Memorial Bridge, the nice Middleton Bridge in Southern Maryland, JFK Highway, and the Hayden Bridge up in Cecil County. Now we're going to have on the screen the express toll lanes, toll rate schedule. This one is a little bit more complicated, where we have variable pricing for different times of the day, the peak, the off-peak, and the overnight pricing, which you can see on the screen. And then last but not least, provide you the pricing for the intercounty connector. There's a lot of details here, and I don't think you want to be laboring on that, but this is in the slides that have been sent, so you can use those.
If the ICC goes through a district, you totally want to go through that, actually.
Yeah. All right, so now I want to talk a little bit about helpful hints that we provide to our customers. Often when we hear from customers expressing concerns about possible mischarges, we however frequently find that the charges are valid and are from concerns that stem from account management issues. We routinely are communicating helpful hints out to our customers, messaging to help educate them. Also, in February, Secretary Port shared a memo with a constituent checklist. That's essentially the checklist on the screen that provides the most common issues that customers encounter and with the tips specifically on how they can resolve them. One of the most helpful hints is to remind customers to properly mount their EasyPass transponder. When the transponder is not properly mounted, the certainty of a tag read is significantly less, and that oftentimes result in what's called an ITOL. And so, for example, here, where many customers don't mount their EasyPass transponder or don't have the transponder in the vehicle at the time of travel, this results in an image toll, or what we call an ITOL, which carries a higher toll rate than the EasyPass rate. And when this occurs, they would receive that higher rate than if they had that transponder properly mounted in their vehicle. Pardon me, I got to take a quick drink here. So ITOLs are not mischarges, but customers often will contact us asking why the toll rate was not at the EasyPass rate. And it's really because processing an ITOL requires additional work and expense for the MDTA to review that license plate image and associate the license plate with that EasyPass account owner. In addition, customers subscribing to discount plans may be charged the full fare for transactions if their transponders are not properly installed. And when this happens, we work with our customers to explain why they received the ITOL and educate them on how to prevent this in the future. This next slide gives some information that's important to help customers understand what they should do if their transponder is lost or stolen, or in the event that it was in a towed vehicle. This is a case that happens from time to time, and just help for you to be able to work with your constituent services to help them. We wanted to share this information. For in terms of video toll processing and the notices of toll due, this slide walks through how that process works. And so a video toll transaction occurs when a vehicle goes through a Maryland toll facility without paying the toll and does not have an EasyPass or a pay-by-play account, as I mentioned before. It's simply another form of payment where a bill or a notice of toll due, or NOTD, is sent to the motorist after they've traveled on the Maryland toll road without that pay-by-plate or EasyPass. Video toll rates, again, are higher rates. It's the highest rates of our three payment options due to the time and effort needed to process them. However, with our new tolling system, we do have that early payment discount that I mentioned earlier. Again, that 15% if they pay the video toll before it's mailed.
Sorry to interrupt. I don't know if there's something like touching or rubbing against your laptop near the microphone, but there's kind of a distracting sound that's happening.
Okay, apologize for that. We've got a projector here, so it might be that. I'm sorry. We'll try to keep going. So another important issue with video tolls that EasyPass customers can encounter video tolls as well, especially if they have insufficient funds on the EasyPass account, an expired credit card, an unregistered vehicle license plate, or an improperly mounted transponder. All of these events can result in video tolls to EasyPass customers. And it's important to note too that when that occurs, the video toll account is actually considered a separate account from the customer's EasyPass account. So those video tolls don't automatically migrate over. A toll transfer process is required with the customer to move them over to their EasyPass account. A customer has 45 days on a video toll from the date of the notice of toll due without a penalty. NOTDs can be paid online, by mail, or in person at one of our customer service centers or by phone. The MDTA is always committed to working with our customers. And in March of 2020, the MDTA board unanimously voted to reduce civil penalties by half from the previous $50 amount down to $25. And in February of this year, the board passed a customer assistance plan, which I'll talk about here in a moment. So this next slide provides details on the locations of our customer service centers. And these are all available on our website. Since the pandemic, we have extended our hours. We provided temporary extended hours in the evenings on Thursdays and also Saturday hours for customers to better reach us and resolve their tolling concerns. So the locations shown on the screen are at MDTA facilities and are essentially immediately adjacent to our where the previous toll plazas were located, so they can hop right off, take care of their tolling needs, and then hop right on the road. They can pay with cash, etc., at these locations right next to the tolling facilities. And then this next slide shows all of the EasyPass customer service centers that we have at MDOT MVA locations. The one distinction between the MVA locations versus MDTA is that the MVA locations do require appointments in order to be able to visit the MVA. That's across the board for services at the MVA now. And I provide the link on the slide for the website where customers are able to schedule appointments to visit one of our customer service centers at MVAs. We do have roadway signing at each of these MVA locations to advertise that services are available there. And we're really proud since the pandemic launch and as part of our overall customer assistance plan to provide relief to our customers, we recently launched that Essex branch that's shown on the slide as well. So these are not located immediately at the toll facility, but they're in high traction MVA areas and areas where we find that we have a lot of user needs. So before I close, I want to talk briefly here about the customer assistance plan and the benefits that it's having for our customers. At its February 2022 meeting, the MDTA board approved the 9-month customer assistance plan, and that plan was memorialized as well through the legislature with the passage of Senate Bill 59. The plan provides a civil penalty waiver grace period for customers who pay their unpaid video tolls by 11:59 p.m. Sorry to be so specific, but we want to be clear. On November 30th of 2022. For every video toll transaction paid in full, the corresponding civil penalty is waived. And in addition, toll bill referrals to Central Collections Unit and the MDOT MVA were ceased until December 1st of 2022. So it's important to remember that the customer assistance plan is not a toll forgiveness plan or an elimination of tolls owed. Tolling remains in effect statewide, and drivers are responsible for paying their outstanding toll amounts owed. We also greatly improved our customer service, where customers can quickly reach us now with minimal wait times. And as of August 29th, a total of $67.4 million in civil penalties have been waived, or approximately 444,000 drivers and businesses that paid their outstanding video tolls. Another key aspect of the customer assistance plan was that we were going to move forward to investigate a payment plan alternative, and the board, MDTA board, voted to proceed with COMAR changes to allow for installment plans as part of this overall program. The MDTA is full court press on making our customers aware of this limited time opportunity remaining on the customer assistance plan. We're attending in-person events like recently at the Maryland State Fair. We were at Mako. We're doing all the rounds trying to get around here. And we've been providing media and social updates in addition to direct mailers to our customers. However, I will also be sharing a letter with all state elected officials requesting help in reminding constituents about the upcoming end of the customer assistance plan. Those I signed very recently. Some of you may have already received them, but if you haven't, it's coming very soon. And on our social media platforms, we're running a daily countdown reminding customers of the end date and encouraging them to incrementally take advantage of the program and save on future tolls by signing up for EasyPass. So with that, I want to thank the committee again for giving the MDTA the opportunity to brief them on Maryland tolling, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. And I think we'll leave if you want, I can leave the slides up so that we can go back to them if it's helpful in answering questions, or we'll take your direction on the lead on that.
All right, yeah, we can leave them up for now, see how that works. Thank you, Mr. Pines. Appreciate it. Again, if you have a question, please raise your hand and then we will recognize you. I'll just start the questions off by asking, so according to MDTA, as of August of 2020, there was about $167 million in out-of-state video toll debt, which is, I guess, late fees as well as the underlying tolls. And I don't know if the 67 million that's been forgiven as a part of the customer assistance plan has eaten into that and reduced that. But I know MDTA has been planning to do a procurement, choose a vendor, a private debt collection company to sell that out-of-state toll debt. And knowing that the customer assistance plan will not end until November 30th, I assume this wouldn't happen until after that. But can you update us on, what is the expected timing and what's the status of that effort to procure a private debt collection company to sell the out-of-state video toll debt?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Chairman. Certainly the pandemic impacted some of the timing when we were originally planning to roll that out. And then listening to our customers, the legislature, our board, the governor, there's a strong interest to be able to offer payment plans. And so advancing those regulations, like we talked about in the presentation, is really a key part of it. Putting out debt collections contracts without provisions to provide for payment plans would be a less effective means for doing that. So there's a couple of pieces here. As you mentioned, we've suspended some of our enforcement and collection activities associated with the customer assistance plan. But in addition to that, the customer assistance plan had that payment plan component. So we're working through the process of having those regs approved. So the timing, I would expect, we're trying to have those payment plan regs approved near the end of the year. And that would allow us to put out that RFP early next year is what we're likely expecting based on where we are with the payment plan approval.
Thanks. So another question is, on the Pennsylvania Turnpike website, they have a notice that informs their customers to expect delayed the Maryland EasyPass transactions. So my question is, were those delayed EasyPass transactions, was that just limited to the ICC, or was that from any other MDTA facilities?
So no, during the pandemic, we had a statewide pause on sending certain transactions, particularly those that are image-based, where, as I mentioned before, you have video toll transactions that are image-based, pay-by-plate, and then Easy Pass transactions when a customer has an iToll. And so any of those image-based transactions were paused during the pandemic to provide customers more time to pay. That backlog we've been working through, we're 99% complete. The only remaining backlog that we are still processing are those where we did not receive registered owners back from the DMVs. So they require a little bit more effort to just validate that those transactions, the license plate, aren't actually linked up with an owner any longer. All of the other backlog is resolved now. And we are running, we did have also a period where what we refer to sometimes as our current transactions, they were running several weeks behind. We are now caught up to where typically a customer, if they travel on our facility, their tolls will post to their account within a week or so. So that was a problem. We've been actively working on that, and it's mostly resolved with that one exception that I talked about.
Okay, I guess I was referring specifically to the Easy Pass transactions, non-image transactions. And the question was, did the delay of those Easy Pass transactions, did that only occur from the ICC, or did that affect any other toll facilities?
It affected all facilities. And I just want to clarify that image toll transactions are still Easy Pass transactions. Eventually that iToll will post to the Easy Pass account. And that's part of the delay that you're referring to.
Yeah, I guess I'm referring to the non-image transaction, just straight up Easy Pass, valid account, but no iToll, no image, no video toll. And my understanding was on the ICC, those were delayed, which is why Pennsylvania had that notice to their Easy Pass customers saying, expect some delays in the Easy Pass transaction. So
yeah, we did pause, as you mentioned, we did pause transactions on the ICC. That is part of it. There's more to it that I mentioned with the iTolls and everything, but that is correct. There was a pause on the ICC as well.
Okay. And I guess with that pause in the transactions on the ICC for Easy Pass, that was around the time when MDTA switched to new vendors. So I know, there was a vendor transition from the old vendor to the new vendor, which is a pair of vendors. And so one question is, did MDTA know that the ICC Easy Pass transactions, were not going to be able to be processed by the vendors before the decision was made to switch to the new system, or did we find out after the decision was made to switch to the new vendors?
Yeah, the contract included provisions for data migration, and that was always part of the transition plan. So it's very normal in tolling transitions that you have a period where you pause, you do a data migration on account information from your prior vendor to the new vendor. So that pause has to happen in any system. The complexity of the ICC and the reason why Easy Pass was paused has a lot to do actually with those image tolls. Because the ICC is our facility that's made up of trips, where you could go through one transponder read gantry and hold up your transponder to the window and have an accurate read, and another one have it still sitting in your dash and it doesn't read. In that kind of case, as the trip is built, we do rely on those image tolls. Because we had to ensure the accuracy of that overall form trip through every gantry, we did have to pause on them to make sure that they were sent correctly.
So you're saying we knew that in advance before the go live, and we went live anyway, that there was going to have to be a pause because the vendors were not going to be able to process those transactions correctly and accurately on day one?
Yeah, I'm saying that a pause during a tolling transition is always necessary in order to properly make sure you form the transactions correctly and migrate the data correctly.
And I guess there's a saying in business procurement, that there's value in having sort of one throat to choke, single point of contact when you're dealing with vendors. And I know Maryland split their tolling operations between two different vendors. So we're dealing with Capsh as well as Transcore. So is Maryland an outlier, or are there other states that do it that way? Or are we the only one who has split our tolling operations between two different vendors?
No, many other states follow the example that we have here. There's actually some that even split it further and break out their collections activities. Their call center will be separate from their account management. There's a lot of different ways that different states procure and split up their contracting. Certainly the one throat to choke has its advantages, but it also it doesn't allow us to play to the strengths. Some lane side vendors have better technology that's more accurate, and call center vendors have better staffing, better response, better account management. So we opted to break it into two contracts in order to get the best possible customer service center for our customers and to get the latest technology for the lane side services.
Okay, thanks for that answer. Another question is about the toll rates. So on the ICC, the Easy Pass rate is the Easy Pass rate. It's not different if you have a Maryland Easy Pass versus an out-of-state Easy Pass. And that's not how it works at other MDTA facilities. There's a Maryland Easy Pass rate versus a non-Maryland Easy Pass rate. How is it going to work on the public-private partnership, the P3, where Maryland is going to select a private partner to put toll lanes on the American Legion Bridge and up into lower 270? Is that going to follow the ICC model, or is that going to follow the way it works in the rest of MDTA's system?
I have to admit with you, Delegate Carr, that the toll rates and the board approved toll rate schedule for the price managed lanes is available on our website, but I do not have that full schedule memorized. That is a dynamic tolled facility. They're very complicated. I wish I knew your answer to that question if the out-of-state tolls are separate, but I don't. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Thank you. So you're saying Maryland started doing Easy Pass in 2011, is that right?
I think that's what we said in the presentation. I got to verify that date.
So I know for me personally, in the year 2000, I was working in Virginia near the Dulles Airport. So I had my first Easy Pass from Virginia because Maryland didn't have Easy Pass yet. And then I've had it from a number of different states. At one point I had it from Delaware because Delaware wasn't charging a monthly fee. And then I had a Maryland Easy Pass for a few years. Then I switched to Massachusetts, and that's what I've had, I think, for the last 10 years. I think people are not always aware that they can shop around. They can get Easy Pass from any state. They don't have to get it from their home state, or if they live in DC, they have to get it from another state.
Yeah, the team clarified for me here that we've been a member of the IAG since 2011. So that would be when we became a member in that group. Easy Pass itself, but I'm sure it potentially predated that, but I don't know the exact date. But you're absolutely correct that customers have options in terms of signing up for Easy Pass in different states. And we do recognize, the Easy Pass reads, as I mentioned earlier, that come from other states. The toll rates are different. So frequent users of Maryland facilities who want to take advantage of discount plans and the lower toll rates, there is additional processing that's required for us to coordinate with the IAG on Easy Pass transactions. So we always, if you're a regular user of our facility, we would encourage you to consider using a Maryland Easy Pass for the cost savings benefit to you. But we certainly have no objection to anybody using whatever state they prefer.
All right. And, I have some neighbors who are in the military, so they live in Maryland, but because they moved here from another state, the military allows them to have the license plate from their home state. So, one neighbor has a Florida plate, another neighbor has a Delaware plate. So some of these people with out of state, plates or accounts are actually Marylanders, but, we're treating them, with a higher rate because we're considering them out of state.
It's a choice. You mentioned, Chairman, that you have an out-of-state Easy Pass. You're a Marylander. It's your choice. One of the staples of how we like to operate is to give customers choices so that they can utilize toll roads the way that they prefer. And we don't object to, if you want to have a Florida Easy Pass, wherever you want to go, that's fine by us.
Thank you. I know that a number of the different toll agencies have been going cashless, just like Maryland has. And, I would think that the goal when you convert to cashless, you don't want to lose money. You want to at least collect the same amount of money that you did before. And I've heard that, when money that you can't collect can be referred to as lost revenue or leakage. And I know that there's an industry organization called IBTTA, International Bridge and Tunnel Toll Association, and they convened a lost revenue task force to look at the problem across the whole industry. And I know we participated in that task force. Is there anything that we've learned from that or taken back about in terms of the best practices or the way to ensure that we're collecting all the money that we're owed?
Absolutely. So MDTA participates in a number of groups that are interested in tolling and have discussions on revenue collection, the I-95 Corridor Coalition, IBTTA, and also the IAG has what they call the EMC group that similarly has revenue discussions. So we routinely talk about different best practices in collections, and some of those practices need to balance customer service. Like right now, we have a customer assistance plan in place. And as you mentioned earlier, our focus is on providing our customers streamlined service, helping them to pay their toll debt down and for us to have good service to them. But some of the stronger enforcement mechanisms that we would typically have are not in place. So different states and tolling agencies as a whole handle enforcement and collections differently. And we sort of talk to each other about the learned experiences at these meetings. Education and outreach is also really critical. The vast majority of our transactions are from Easy Pass customers. And again, when they utilize Easy Pass, they get the lowest rates, the greatest convenience, the least amount of hassle in terms of dealing with notices of toll due. And so the more customers we can educate about joining Easy Pass or a pay-by-plate option, the better collections we have, but more importantly, the better customer service in that balancing we also have. In order to educate the public on some of these best practices that we hear, we are try to be one of the most progressive agencies in terms of the tolling agency outreach component. We put out regular press releases, social media, including direct alerts to customers. And we participate in numerous outreach events, like I talked about with the state fair participation, et cetera. We like to, one of the things that we've learned by participating with the IBTTA is to provide lots of payment options. Some of the things that we're exploring now, states like Virginia, North Carolina, and Illinois have all enjoyed improved collections by promoting third-party mobile applications, which are private options, totally separate from the IAG, separate from the tolling that we offer as a state. There are entities that have Easy Pass accounts and they register motorists under their account and leverage their mobile app tool to provide them another payment option for their toll roads. So we are actively, based on that kind of feedback, we're working now to partner with some of those third-party tolling app companies that are private in order to make our customers aware of them as an option. There's some customer service concerns that we got to iron out, and those things take time. But we are looking at options like that we learned from that participation that becomes a helpful tool in our revenue collection side of the house.
Thanks. So if we were in a boat and the boat was leaking water, then we'd want to find out where the leak is. Is it in the bow or the stern or wherever? And I would think if there's revenue leaking out of a toll agency, you want to try to find out where it's coming from. Are there particular places within MDA where there's more leakage than other places? Like, for example, I was looking at the breakdown of by zip code of the out-of-state toll revenue, and I noticed there was a bunch of uncollected, unpaid toll revenue from Virginia, like just beyond the Nice Middleton Bridge. So is the Nice Middleton Bridge, for example, a place where folks have learned that they can just, drive and not pay with impunity, and, because it's right on a state border there?
So just to give you some numbers, to kind of help understand our toll metrics here. So for the fiscal year 22, we had a total in-state tolls that were due to us of $453.9 million, or 51% of the projected toll revenue owed to us. And out of state, we had $436.8 million, or 49% of our toll revenue. To date, 82% of the in-state tolling has been paid, and 90% of the out-of-state tolling has been paid. And we believe that as we've recently transitioned to AT and suspended some of our collections tools, our enforcement tools, that these numbers will improve in terms of our collection rates once we are in position to implement some of those activities. But going back to the IBTTA and the coalitions and things that we talked about before, some video tolling is obviously a big area of lost revenue for many tolling agencies around the country. And some of the strongest tools that they have are those enforcement tools. There are some states that can arrest people, can suspend driver's license, have criminal misdemeanors associated with that. Maryland doesn't have those stronger tools to enforce collections, things like impounding your car. You're from out of state, you come in, you owe us money, we're going to impound your car. We don't have that ability. We have somewhat conservative in a good way, in that we are not harming our customers with our enforcement activities. So there is lost revenue. That's an issue with every tolling agency around the country. But as I mentioned, from an out-of-state perspective, to date from FY22, we have 90% payment rate on the tolls.
Okay, thank you. Other questions from committee members? All right, well, seeing none, we have a question from Delegate Corman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, thank you for your years of advocacy on this issue. We really appreciate all your leadership on it. Executive Director Pines, thanks for being here. It might have been in your presentation, but what's the wait time on the call centers now?
Yeah, so great question. I did mention in the presentation that they're very low, but didn't give stats. Essentially, there's no wait times through a lot of the day. Last Friday, our wait times were 10 seconds. When we launched the customer assistance plan in February, we had average wait times of around 55 minutes. We're now at effectively no wait times. So customers are able to call our call center and get through, use our web chat and get service, or visit us in person at our customer service center and get pretty readily easy access to us at this point. We also, in terms of case management, the backlog of cases that were submitted before, we have essentially worked through all of those prior cases, with the exception of cases where there is a pending action for the customer to make payment on their tolls, and we're just awaiting them to make that payment.
And so the reduction in wait times, is that because of the backlog being worked through? Is it because of extra staffing? Is it because of the use of the intelligent chatbot?
I think it's a combination. You know, we've really worked hard. We added a new location at our Essex branch for the MVA for people to get in-person service. We've added additional windows for service at our John F. Kennedy Highway facility, at our Bay Bridge facility, and at Baltimore Harbor Tunnel and Fort McHenry Tunnel. So in-person options are more readily available from our permanent MDTA staff. Our call center that's run by our vendor, they've increased their staff, kind of full court press on all of those options. And we certainly have been making a lot of improvements as well on our website to be able to make the process. We listen to the feedback from our customers. If they need help with figuring out how to log in, we try to get together with a team, use focus groups, use surveys, et cetera, to improve the system constantly to help to avoid the need for folks to call us. So all of these actions are helping to drive down our wait times.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Trying to go in first come, first serve order. I had Senator McCray and then Senator Kagan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Director Pines, for the briefing. The question that I have is, we hear about the trust agreement a great bit, and I know that you talked about the $25 civil penalty and more than $67 million being returned back to customers. Could you speak to how that impacted our trust agreement, or if it impacted our trust agreement? And then my next question is, I still get a number of constituent issues via email about the Easy Pass, and you all have done a wonderful job of addressing it. But I would like to know, on average, how many constituent issues are you still receiving from respective senators and delegates, members of the Maryland General Assembly?
Okay, so on the first question about the trust agreement, so our trust agreement with bondholders requires that we do not allow for free passage. In order for the MDTA to waive civil penalties, we did have to go to the MDTA board and have them officially approve to alter the tolling policy temporarily with that civil penalty waiver. As I mentioned, the way that toll rate setting is in Maryland, the MDTA board has that authority to set tolls. And so they were able to implement that customer assistance plan and offer that waiver period. That type of waiver is similar. Delaware, through the pandemic, had a amnesty program that they approved. And we, in the past, have had similar waiver programs that were implemented on a short-term basis. But again, we do see concerns that with our trust agreement, when they do start to impact the revenue, that at any point bondholders could challenge us compromising our revenue position. So for your question on the number of constituent services requests that we receive, our Brad and Mary and James, who are also joining me today, and I know they work with you, Senator McCray, quite a bit on helping out with that, indicated that it varies, but on average, we're receiving about 5 to 10 per week from elected officials today. Some of those tend to be a little higher for the elected officials that have been most outspoken on this issue. And so, obviously you've been a big leader with Senate Bill 59. So I think you may be a little bit higher in that number. But it absolutely has been a significant decline in constituent services needs because folks can get through to our call center.
Mr. Chair, if I can follow up on his response. You talked about the bondholders possibly raising concerns in reference to the trust agreement if they feel as though their dollars have been impacted. Have you heard from any of the trust agreement or the bondholders at this moment, knowing that we've returned as a state of Maryland $67 million because of the civil penalties that were accrued? And I continue to ask this question because this came up since I've been in the General Assembly in reference to the actual price of the civil penalty. So if you're receiving a $4, $6 toll, but you have a $25 civil penalty, folks question whether that is fair and possibly ask the question whether they could receive a reduction from that. So in return to $67 million, have there been any bondholders that have expressed concern in reference to what we're going through at this moment? And thank you again, Mr. Chair, for your patience.
Yeah, absolutely. So every year as part of the process with our trust, we do have to receive credit ratings. And so this year we went through the process with Moody and Fitch to get our ratings updated. Through that process, we had to demonstrate to the rating agencies what we anticipated to be the financial impact of the customer assistance plan and the net impact. Because one of the benefits of the plan is that while it does waive civil penalties, it also does encourage additional video toll payments and encourage customers on general education about EasyPass as a whole, helping folks migrate over to more stable toll payment options. So what the way that would typically alert bondholders to a problem is if we received a credit rating downgrade, which other tolling agencies like Miami-Dade, MDX, were downgraded due to some legislative actions that had occurred. And in that process, through the downgrading, they had problems. So we did have to explain this in detail. Unfortunately, because of the relatively low net cost impact to the MDTA from the customer assistance plan, we did not receive a downgrading this year. We were given a stable financial outlook, and we have not had any challenges from our bondholders from this plan. Related to our civil penalty amount, the $25, it's very in line and actually better than many other surrounding states. Delaware, for example, has a $50 violation program. They do not even, it's not a late fee with them. They really want you to be in an EasyPass to the extent that if you go through and you don't make your payment, you're a violator, and they send you $50 right out of the gate. And it goes up from there if you're late on paying that violation. That's one example. There's many others that are higher. There are some that are lower, but typically those that are lower have higher toll rates up front to offset the fact that their civil penalties are lower. And again, really, this is about collecting our costs. When we have a video toll customer, we have to send the civil penalty notice to them via mail, do all of the lookups, certify the citation through the process, all the way through to collections. And that civil penalty is the only payment that we receive on any collections activity that can occur downstream through the entire process. Thank you.
All right, Senator McRae, is that anything else? All right, I have Senator Kagan and then Chair Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I want to echo Delegate Corman's gratitude to you. You have been a bulldog on this issue for a long time, so thank you for that. I did not hear, and I don't think I missed it, but please tell me if I did, conversation about transponders sort of pooping out. I don't know what technical word to use, but expiring, dying with no advance notice. Like sometimes with a battery on your cell phone and your Bluetooth or something, you get sort of a flash or a something. And I've heard of folks who have taken multi-state trips and thought that they were perfectly fine and using their EasyPass all the way up and had money on the account. And then they got fees and penalties and all that in every state up the eastern seaboard that takes a lot of time to then try to address. And then in addition to getting a new transponder, can you speak to that, how you're advertising that? Is there sort of best practices after X years, you really should replace it? Or are there better batteries in newer versions? Or if you could just speak to that, please.
Yeah, so I'll break this down a couple points. So you're absolutely right. We do actually advertise through social media and in some of our press releases about the fact that the transponders do have a battery in it and they do die. And so we have equipment right in our customer service centers where if folks are seeing that their transponder is not reading when it's properly mounted, they can come in and easily have it checked. That being said, we do recognize that a more proactive approach would be to just send those replacements to customers based on a duration. We are actively working on a program to start that. We have a whole series of activities planned with transponders because the next wave of transponders, what's referred to as 6C, is working on approval in the IAG right now, and that actually does not have a battery in it. It's more like, if you remember the Hayden Bridge, the old decal type thing, it has similar type of technology that's embedded. It has some differences in that unlike today where you can move a transponder from one car to the other, this will have to be stuck to the windshield and it'll stay there. And it'll essentially last forever. And we'll have to sort of modify some of how we handle transponders because of those 6C options that are coming in down the pipe. So yes, we recognize it's an important issue with the batteries, and we encourage any customer who feels like their transponder is not reading, stop by, visit us, we'll check it, we'll get them a new transponder for free right away if they come in and do that. But we are working on a replacement program for them. I think you asked another question there. I'm sorry if I've forgotten it, but one other point I wanted to make is additionally, there are certain windshield types that are problematic for transponders with reads. And we separately offer a license plate mounted transponder if you have those types of vehicles. We provide information on our website about the types of things that have that happen. So some of them are like, if you have a windshield that has the speedometer that's projected on it, that can interfere with the reads from the transponders. A list describing the types of windshields that are problematic are provided again on our website, but those can be an issue where somebody would need a license plate mounted transponder as well.
Okay, so following up, if I could, Mr. Chair, thank you for the answer, but anticipating that the battery might be running out in the next 6 months, I mean, that just seems bizarre. Random people stopping by. And if the battery is fine today, that doesn't mean it's fine next week. So that seems not ideal for your customer service people as well as for the driver. License plate mounted, I wonder about security. Literally security when you go over a speed bump or something, or security for theft. And then bottom line is, if it has to be mounted, if it's not movable and must be installed in the car, then rental cars, you're or with a friend or traveling or whatever, that's a bit of a challenge. And then the last question, because your answer provoked a bunch more questions. Penalties in other states. Do you guys do reciprocity of if there's a dead transponder and but people can prove that and they're from Delaware, Connecticut, New York, Pennsylvania, blah, blah, blah. Do we do some cross-pollination on that, or is the voter just kind of zapped with the fees and needing to just make it whole based on a dead battery?
So you had a lot of questions.
I know.
I'll try to tackle each one. If I forget one, please remind me. I think I'll start with battery replacements. Again, we do advertise effectively that the transponders last for about 8 years, and then they require replacement. We also ask customers to monitor their account. So if they see that tolls are not posting because it's not reading the transponder, then we ask them to reach out to us and get a replacement. But that being said, I fully understand that the more proactive approach is to replace them automatically for them. and we are launching that program going forward. Did you want to have a follow-up on that before I keep going? 'Cause you were moving a lot there. So.
Yeah, sorry. I have to call you on that. If I monitor my bill all the time, but there's a delay of months before I can actually see my bill, even the most diligent driver is not going to notice something in time and will incur fees and penalties, potentially significant ones, while driving on a transponder with a dead battery. So I'm not sure that's actually fair.
Can I jump in and ask a really quick question, Mr. Chair, because it's related to Senator Kagan's comments?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Pines, thank you very much for being here. And I know we've talked about this one particular issue in the past, and it goes very much related to Senator Kagan's questioning. And that is, if one's battery or transponder, for whatever reason, stops functioning, and you grab the license plate and you charge the credit card anyway because you are connecting the corresponding license plate to the transponder. Do you, because I asked you this question like 6 or 8 months ago, do you have a proactive way of then reaching out to the customer and saying, hey, we keep charging your tag number because it's associated with your transponder, but we've done that 4 times now or 7 times now. So there's something wrong with your transponder. We're sending you a new one, or do you reach out to them? And I know, because I remember sitting in my office last session talking about this exact thing, and that I think would go to something that Senator Kagan is asking about, being more proactive, because that's exactly, as you know, what happened to me. Like, I'm driving around and driving around and driving around, and so I know that there was a problem with the database connecting those dots. Has that been fixed, or what are you doing? Because that seems to me to be like a super obvious way of addressing that particular issue.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Delegate. That's brilliant. Thank
Yeah,
you for that question.
Thank you for reminding me of that, because yes, we do have push notifications, with the exception of the fact that we do have to have the customer does need to opt in to receive them. We don't we will post it on their account, but if they don't sign up for text alerts or email, then they won't receive them via that platform. So they'll have to go to the website and look at it in order to do that. So there's a little nuance there, but that's the customer's choice to receive push notices. So we do offer that. Secondly, we are in process of rolling out a mobile application, and the mobile application will also make it more convenient so that you're not going to a website, you're easily pulling up the app on your phone and looking for those push notices there. So the mobile app is not available yet. We're working on that as one of the customer service enhancements that we're bringing to bear. But yes, we do have push notifications through our system, including for
Little lock up there.
He froze.
You're muted, Al.
All right, we got some freezing going on here while Mr. Pines looks at his internet. I know Senator Carter, or Chair Carter, you had a question as well, and I didn't know.
Mr. Chair, I did have a tiny little follow-up. I want to lock Mr. Pines down, because what I didn't hear in that answer is specifically what I didn't hear is you have to opt in for a push notification, but I didn't hear that means you're going to get a push notification telling you that your tag's has been pinged, but your Easy Pass hasn't. And I want to lock that down. I want to make sure.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry. I did shut off my video because apparently I was having a little bit of connectivity issues there. But yes, I said that more generally, that they receive a notice that they're an ITOLer, which is effectively exactly what you said, that they were being charged by their plate instead of the read on their transponder.
And then it says something along the lines of, we suspect, or you may have a transponder problem. Please contact us to receive a new transponder at no charge, something like that.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I want. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
going
Mr. Chair,
back.
for everything.
All right,
Mr.
anything else,
Chair.
Senator Kagan?
Yes, so Mr. Pines was trying to remember my very long list of questions. So Mr. Pines, before Delegate Fraser-Hidalgo's excellent intercession, did you have more, or should I repeat some of the questions?
I think you asked about customer service related to dead batteries, and certainly in Maryland, our customer service center, if a customer had a dead battery and they had incurred a number of charges, we would work with that customer to manage those tolls. As far as out of states go, each tolling agency is responsible for setting their own toll policies within the umbrella requirements of the IAG. I honestly am not sure if the IAG has a rule on batteries for transponders, but that would be something that they would handle within their own customer service centers.
So there's no reciprocity, like you're going to let the Delaware guy, who with a dead battery waive the penalty and they waive us in Delaware. Like there's nothing like that.
I don't know, actually. I can't say one way or another. I don't know if the IAG has any rules on dead batteries. I can only say what we do in our customer service center.
Yep. Rental cars and the security of license plate posting, fixing.
That's related to the 6C transponder. Again, we don't have policies developed on that. That's a new technology that's coming. The vendors that we've talked to that offer these have communicated to us that there is a way to manage that. There is a way to manage the fact that commuter plans can be used in multiple vehicles. We will absolutely figure out a way to make that work. I just don't know what it is at this point because we don't offer them at all yet.
And the last thing that you still haven't spoken to is rental cars or getting in a friend's car. You're just then, if you're not able to move your transponder, then you're just going to have to pay a fee. You're going to just have to.
I thought that I did address that. That was really, you were referring, I think, help me if I'm wrong here. I think you were referring to the 6C transponder that would be affixed to the windshield. That transponder is not even offered yet, and we would have to work out the policies. But again, the vendors that offer them have assured us that there are means for doing that.
Okay, maybe that wasn't clear to me. And if you did say it, I apologize. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. And Chair Carter, you had your hand up and then it's down and it was up. And you're on mute. Chair Carter, you are on mute.
Thank you. So many of my questions have now been answered or touched upon, but I'm still not clear about one thing. We requested, and at your leadership, Mr. Co-Chair, Mr. Pines, we requested that you would move toward reciprocity agreements. In your presentation, you mentioned that we don't have the ability to suspend the registration of someone from another state, for example. You did mention that we now are at about a 90% collection rate for out-of-state toll debt, but I'm wondering where we are in that process. You mentioned something about that early next year, you could be in a position of procuring a debt collector, but I don't know that should be at the expense of or in lieu of working toward the reciprocity agreement. So where are we with that?
So we have a lot of irons in the fire, as we mentioned. Right now, I mentioned that we have our collections and enforcement activities paused while we are in the customer assistance plan. As far as reciprocity agreements are concerned, I talked a good bit about balancing the customer service factors with reciprocity, with the goal of having increased collections. And in terms of reciprocity, there are very few tolling entities that have it. There was a JCR report that was issued that kind of described issues around reciprocity agreements back in 2019. And reciprocity agreements, one of the biggest challenges with them is that different tolling entities have different enabling legislation and different practices for customer service. So for example, in Texas, if you have a violation or you're at a certain debt level, they can actually impound your car. And so trying to make sure that we have equitable treatment of Maryland residents when they're going through other states is a really key aspect of managing reciprocity agreements. Locally, near Maryland, Delaware, and the Pennsylvania Turnpike entered into a reciprocity agreement, which, because of some of the challenges with customer service, they haven't actually leveraged it to date. So I would say that where we are with reciprocity agreements is that we're actively participating in the I-95 coalition, in IBTTA, in the IAG, to really learn how to do reciprocity agreements well in a way that balances those concerns about punitive measures and collections on customers with our goals of revenue attainment. So we're still actively in those conversations. As Chairman Carr had mentioned, the IBTTA hasn't published any of their reports from the Lost Revenue Task Force yet. Those activities are still underway and we're participating in them. But there have been some tolling agencies around the country that have successfully utilized reciprocity agreements, but they also have some similar practices in terms of what they're allowed related to enforcement. So there's a lot of discussions that we have to kind of have to work through that, and whether or not, Delaware allows imprisonment as a example related to toll collections, and we don't in Maryland. And I'm not sure that we want to sign up for an agreement that would imprison a Maryland resident in Delaware for going through their state. So things like that are quite complicated. The other really key point is, why are we focused on a debt collections contract as really the key, and payment plans and mobile app and improving our Easy Pass penetrate, all the other things that I talked about, and reciprocity is more in discussions. The fact of the matter is there's many states that will not enter a reciprocity agreement. New Jersey, Florida, they're not even legal to do. Some states, Connecticut, do not have tolling at all. So they're not going to enter a tolling reciprocity agreement when they are not allowed to do tolling in their state. So reciprocity agreements are a tool that some tolling agencies have had success with, but when I talked about the IAG, I think I said there's 51 tolling agencies. Excuse me if I have the number wrong, but you would have to go out and get individual reciprocity agreements with each one of those tolling agencies to effectively have them aligned. It's a huge undertaking to do, and we believe that advancing the collections RFP will work with a motorist from Texas, Connecticut, Florida, everywhere across the board. They can advance revenue collections out of state. So we're going to continue to pursue reciprocity agreements in discussions with other states, but these other things are also really important for us to pursue, and we're more confident on a time frame of when they could be implemented than where we are with reciprocity agreements.
Thank you. Finally, my other question is more in terms of your internal processes and self-auditing. We all know about the debacle that so many of our constituents had during the last couple of years with not receiving notices and accruing fees and having their registrations in some instances suspended and all of that. And you did mention that you have a lot of programs in place, but thinking of that and thinking about Senator Kagan's questions and Delegate Fraser Hidalgo, when you talk about things like the dead battery and the transponder and other kinds of things that we rely upon the constituent or the driver to identify and then come to you to try to work out some way to fix the problem. My question is about what processes you have for self-auditing to catch these things so that the burden is not always on the driver, but you're able to spot some of these potential problems yourself within.
Yeah, so the dead battery one, as I mentioned before, we do have a means to detect when customers are frequently I-tolling, where you're an Easy Pass customer and you're, instead of reading your transponder, will regularly reading your plate. And in those instances, if a customer is willing to receive a push notice from us, we send them the push notice, and we do automatically give them that notice on the website for when they would log in their account. So we do provide that proactively to them so that they are aware that they have that issue. We also, in terms of the quality of the tolling system, our vendors are responsible for regularly doing checks of the quality of the tolling transactions, and then MDTA independently validates the accuracy of the system. We consistently have found that the tolling accuracy is 99.9% plus accurate. And so, as I mentioned before, a lot of the concerns, the vast majority of the concerns that we were hearing months ago have been largely resolved with the customer assistance plan. That plan gave customers more time to pay on their video toll notices and allowed us to adequately address the backlog in a way to where they were able to make those payments over time. And that's, again, we also provided a means for them to get through to us when they did need to reactively reach out to us. So we have taken a lot of proactive steps to address their concerns, and things like the alerts and all are there in our system to do that.
Thank you. So that what you're saying is the legislature doesn't need to expand the 1 year.
We have provided 9 months. The pause period for the customer assist prior to the related to the pandemic, we had a pause period for about 7 months. The customer assistance plan was in place for 9 months. So there was really an abundance of time. And it's important to note too, that the customer assistance plan was opened up to everyone who has toll debt, not just folks who were impacted by the pause in notices of toll due, but folks who had historic debt that they needed to resolve that was older, that's still in the system. That also was made available for them, even pre-pandemic folks. So we've provided a lot of opportunities here for folks to resolve their outstanding tolls, and are doing everything we can. And again, we'll send a constituent letter to help the legislative body alert customers of the impending end date of the customer assistance plan.
Thank you.
All right. So just going back for a second to the delayed ICC Easy Pass transactions. So is there anything in the Easy Pass agreement between the toll agencies that says like how quickly the transactions are supposed to be transmitted to each other? Or is it just, make your best effort, but there's you don't have to do it within a certain number of hours or days? I know I would think you expect to do it quickly, but I know that didn't happen in this instance. Is there something contractually spelled out that says how it's supposed to happen?
Yeah, the IAG does have a 60-day rule where you need to send the transactions from Easy Pass transactions to them within 60 days. However, there is a process to do what they call filter lifts for transactions that aren't received within 60 days. And it is, I don't want to call it a routine practice, but we collaboratively work with each other across states when those filter lists are necessary to work with each other related to issues to process tolls.
Okay, I know there's a lot of different toll agencies in the IAG or the Easy Pass group. I don't know if they function like an angry condo board arguing about the the towels at the pool, or if they're always just unanimous on everything. But I'm sure you all work it out. Any other questions from members? So, Mr. Pines, thank you so much for the presentation and for entertaining our questions. And we had a few topics that we had hoped would be covered in the presentation that might not have been covered. So we're going to send those to you in writing and ask if you could respond to some of those things. But thank you again. Thank you to the members for the great questions. And I believe that we are adjourned.
Mr. Chair.
And
Sorry,
Madam Co-Chair, what say you?
Thank you. Listen, I promise not to keep anyone much longer. Thank you to the committee for your indulgence. Thank you for participating today. Thank you so much, Mr. Pines, for your thorough presentation and answering our questions. I wanted to say that it has been an absolute pleasure to work with you, Delegate Carr, Mr. Co-Chair. We are going to deeply miss you. You get into the weeds and details of these issues much more than so many of us, and it's a blessing. It's an absolute pleasure for me to work with you. I also want to say thank you to our longtime policy analyst, Scott Kennedy, who keeps us on point all the time. He's a real value to this committee. And thank you so much for the other staff that is here, that is new, Kamar Merritt and Samuel. I'm saying that correctly. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Kamar.
You're welcome. Thank